G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, I was actually initially going to do this off camera and not make a video about it, but I thought might as well make a quick video while I'm actually doing this, just to see, because I'm curious, if WLToys have actually stepped up their QC on this new 104002 brushless as far as greasing the diffs. Now, a little over a year ago, I think it was April of last year, I actually made a video on how to grease the diffs on the brushed model, the 001. So I'm basically going to do the exact same procedure with this one. Now, what I like about these 110 scale models compared to the smaller scale WLToys buggies is that you don't really have to pull the car apart just to get to the diffs. They're actually a two-piece cover on the housing here. Okay, so all you have to do is remove a couple of these screws on the front. Okay, there's 4 of them, and then 4 on the bottom here, and then you can release the front of this cover and pop the diff straight out. Yeah. Let's have a look to see if they actually did step it up a bit and put some grease in the diffs of the new brushless model. Okay guys, so let's pull it apart. Okay guys, well, I got the bunch of screws off the front and off the bottom here. End up getting the front portion of the diff casing off now. Okay, and as you can see, I'm actually surprised that this time round they actually did put some grease on the crown here, but it is still rather dry. But last year's model had absolutely nothing. It was just bone dry, so they didn't even go the effort to do that. So I'm pretty hopeful that maybe there is some grease in the diffs. Okay, so here it is here, the diff's out. Just a bit of a closer look. Okay, I just got to take these 4 off and we'll see inside the diff. They feel pretty smooth. Feels like there might be a bit of grease in there, but I'm going to put my own in there anyway. Okay guys, so let's pull it apart. Okay, so you can see we've got the blue gasket once again. So you can put diff oil in these. It's got that keyway. I'm just going to put that together and then twist it a bit. That way I can get that gear to stick. Okay, so we'll put that down. And we can see inside the diff the spider gears, and WLToys are still slacking on the grease, aren't they? I mean, look at that. There's hardly anything in there at all. It's just on the little crossbars of the spider gears. Oh, there's a little bit in there. Not much, but... So even though, like I mentioned in my review video, I ran it out the box, but I suggest that if you have bought this buggy, or any of the WLToys buggies or truck models for that matter, before you take it out for the first run, make sure you check the diffs and fill them up with either grease or oil. This one can accept oil because it's got a gasket, alright, but all the other models, they don't usually have a gasket here or a seal. So, I mean, I just fill them up with grease anyway. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do guys, put it back together and do the same on the rear. They're still at it, you know, they're not putting much in these diffs unfortunately. So that's why I'm making this video, to share with you guys, just to see if they've actually, you know, stepped up their game a bit, but obviously they haven't. Okay, so I've put my own grease in there. I like to tend to fill it up as much as I can. Okay, some people don't, but that's how I do it, and I've had no issues. I do it on all my RCs. It's high temp bearing grease that I usually use, so it's a lot better than running metal to metal, that's for sure. Okay, so bit of peace of mind now when I run this buggy, that it's adequately lubricated. I'm also, once I put it together, I'm gonna put some on the crown gear, obviously. Put a generous amount on the crown gear where it's actually hitting the teeth, not just the plastic pumpkin section. Okay, and it's good to go back in the car. Time to do the rear. Okay, so when you're putting the screws back on underneath, just remember when you take them out to keep them separate. So see these 4 raised screws that I haven't screwed in all the way? They're short screws. These other 2, I still have to tighten them up a bit. My screwdriver went flat. They're longer. They're about double the size of these ones. So just make sure when you're laying out on your workbench or your mat, just keep them in order like that, all right? So short, long, and then short towards the front. Okay guys, well I thought I'll add this into the video, okay, about taking the back diff cover off. Now besides taking the usual screws off the top and the bottom of the chassis plate, I had to back out the actual hinge pin bracing here, okay, especially these 2 outer screws, because they've changed the hinge pins on this one like they did with the 124017 compared to last year's model. You've got the Phillips head screw head on that side, but on this side you've got a nut. All right, so on this side I use the little tire wrench there. There's a screw, but on the opposite side where the battery tray is, I didn't really want to mess around taking the battery bracket out. I just used a pair of pointy nose pliers there. As you can see, the nut's still there. I just backed it off a bit. So yeah, that's necessary on this one because they changed the hinge pin design on this compared to last year's model. I didn't have to do any of that. So yeah, I wasn't able to get this out otherwise. It was just jammed in there just by taking those other screws off. So all right, I just thought I'll let you guys know, just back it out a bit. Try to keep the pins in there. Try not to take everything apart. Just leave it like that. All right, and then you can take the diff out on the rear. As you can see, same deal. Bit on the crown gear. Obviously there's going to be hardly anything inside, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish this, guys, and yeah, put it back together. Alright guys, well both diffs are done. It's all good. Feels a lot better now that it's got grease in there. Felt a little bit loose before with nothing in there, but like I said at the start of the video, I wasn't really going to make this video, but I'm sort of glad I did now because there's a couple of differences between this and the other model, especially the rear hinge pin arrangement. I suggest, you know, you loosen that off to get that rear cover off, because I had a bit of drama. I was wondering why it wouldn't come off easy, but they've redesigned the rear hinge pins there with that nut on the end, like the 124017 model. I noticed that when I reviewed that one compared to the 019. So anyway, yeah, hopefully to those that are new to this model, this is what this video is basically aimed towards. People that are new to the hobby, new to WLToys models in general. Hopefully it helped you out. I suggest that you do grease the diffs, obviously, because there is hardly any in there, just like all the previous models and last year's brush model. So there you have it. Just spend a few minutes and just inspect the diffs and obviously grease them up. That way you'll have pretty much trouble-free running of these particular cars, rather than driving them metal to metal and, you know, possibly just blowing out these diffs because there's no lubrication in there. So anyway guys, if you guys were wondering what tools I was using the WOW stick. I've had this one for a couple of years. This is made by Xiaomi. I bought this from Banggood. Good screwdriver, comes in a pretty decent kit, but that ran out on me today. And then I use the Top Shack cordless screwdriver. Also got this one from Banggood. Purchased this one on one of those snap up deals. I think it was like $20 odd Australian. It was really cheap. So I actually done a review on this one, so you can check that one out. I might leave a card just in case you're interested in what tools I use too. Alright guys, well have a good day or evening wherever you are. It's evening here, so I'm just going to pack all this up. Stay tuned, there'll be more videos on this later on. I've got to do a few other RC cars that have come in to review on the channel. So if you're new to the channel, I suggest you subscribe. It costs you nothing, and make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you'll be updated every time I drop a new video. Alright guys, so anyway, thanks for your time. Yeah, make sure you go through on any WLToys, not just this one, but make sure you go through and service those diffs before you take them out. Don't do what I did and, you know, thrash it around without doing so, even though you might be excited that you've got a brand new RC car. So anyway guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Enjoy the hobby. Bye for now.